Welcome to the Women's Hoop Show. Today's show is fully loaded. We've got game recaps, hot takes, and a whole lot of love for the players who are getting it done this season. The Commissioner's Cup, she's in full swing. And we're breaking down the past week of matchups, the upcoming schedule, and which teams are trending up or sliding fast. Sheryl and I will then do a check-in on the 8 new head coaches in the W this season, what we're seeing, what we're liking, what might be some reason for concern. I have a lot of concerns for a few of them. And of course, we'll wrap with sending flowers presented by Cash App, where we give props to the players making moves on the court and in the culture. So whether you're riding with the Lynx, the Liberty, or still waiting for the Wings to find their rhythm, you're in the right place. And as a reminder, you can be a part of the conversation. We're thinking of doing a mailbag episode soon. So send us your emails, your thoughts, your concerns about your teams at women'shoops@odyssey.com. All right, let's hoop. Sheryl, hello. How are you?
Hi, Jordan. Your hair. I always love your hair. I always love your hair. I have to say that.
Thanks. We needed a break from the fro, so here we are.
I'm great. It's basketball time, and I don't know if I necessarily like a lot of things I'm seeing, but there are definitely a lot of things I do like. But I got lots of questions and concerns.
Yes. Let's just get into it, because I was really looking forward to this episode because we're going to frame it all around coaching. And when we talked about, like, this is what we wanted to talk about, I kind of looked at the games over this past week a little differently. I was like, not really looking at maybe the star players. I was looking at what's working in the offense, what's not working in the defense, what's maybe something that they're missing. And that's kind of what the lens that we're going to look through all of these teams. And first of all, it was a record number of new head coaches coming into this season. And we talked about it at the end of last year. Coaches were losing their jobs left and right. And it came into this season with 8 new people at the helm. And that could come, I said, that could be really good for the league. It could be like super exciting, or it could be really bad. And it was just too much change at one time. So first question, just in general, which direction do you feel like it's going right now so far?
Not the right direction.
I agree.
If that makes sense. Yeah. And I don't want to be that person. Like, I don't want to feel that way, but the proof is in the pudding. Yeah. It just is. So this is just my own personal take, right? And I've had this conversation with several people. Mm-hmm. First of all, going from collegiate coaching to professional coaching, it's a completely different animal. It's a completely different animal. That's the first thing I want to say. The second thing is, it's one thing to be an assistant coach, and it's something totally different to be a head coach.
What is that difference? Because I don't think a lot of people realize that. And there's a lot of the coaches that have made that jump. What's that difference to you?
Yes. And so here's the thing. When you're winning games, right, as an assistant coach, people aren't talking about, oh yeah, assistant coach X is doing an incredible job coaching this team. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. They're saying the head coach is doing an amazing job with this team, regardless of what the assistant coaches are doing behind the scenes, because the assistant coaches are crucial to the success of a team, right? Because the head coach is going to rely on you for a lot of things that we don't necessarily see, we don't necessarily talk about. Also, the relationships that assistant coaches have with players, the extra work they're putting in with players. 9 times out of 10, it's not really the head coach that's doing all the extra work, it's your assistants, right? They're doing the scouting. They're doing the scouting reports. They're doing all the extra work. They're all the things, right? So when you make that jump from an assistant to a head coach, right or wrong, fair, unfair, everything falls on you,
Yep.
right?
The fingers start pointing.
Which is why, Jordan, which is why it's important that you assemble a really good staff. Because now you're going from assistant to head coach. So you're the head coach. Who are your assistants that are going to do the things you did as an assistant? I have so many questions regarding some of these coaching moves, some of the staffs they've put together.
Yes.
And it shows. It's different. The responsibility from an assistant coach to a head coach are completely different. And I'm not really sure some of these coaches understood what they were getting into.
And so before we go down the line for each of these coaches, I read a really interesting article that was from The Athletic. It was a little bit ago, but it was from Sabrina Merchant, Ben Pickman, incredible journalists. And they kind of talked about the unique coaching pipeline for the WNBA. And that's something that a lot of people might not really understand, because when there were all these vacancies, you know, a lot of maybe newer fans are like, well, why can't we get Dawn Staley? You know, like, why can't we just get the best of the best coaches that are out there, especially coming from college?
You can't use
They
Dawn.
kind of
that's not
don't
a good one
want,
to use.
I know, they don't want this job. Like, the pay isn't great.
No.
There isn't a direct pipeline of development to head coaches. We have this season, you know, some assistant coaches making that transition, but you kind of have to be an assistant coach long enough to get those training wheels to be a head coach. And then you're not going to get top college coaches because of the pay difference. So now you're looking at more mid-major head coaches that maybe want to make the leap. Sheryl has her hand raised.
I'm raising my hand because I don't want to interrupt you, but I have a very important point to make right now.
Yes.
I am all for hiring the best available, period. Male, female, black, white, brown, green, orange, I don't care. But hire the best available. Here's where I think people tend to not really truly understand basketball. Don't come to me and say, well, Sheryl, I'm using me as an example because there is a player that I really want to talk about. But don't come to me and say, well, Sheryl, you don't have enough coaching experience to be a head coach in the WNBA or anywhere for that matter, right? Well, I may not have the coaching experience, but I got the playing experience. Don't get me wrong. All great players don't make good coaches.
Right. That is correct.
But here is what I do think. When you have someone like, and I can say it because she's put it out there, when you have someone like a Lisa Leslie, who said she put her name in the hat for 2 jobs. Rumor is one of those was Dallas. I have no idea what jobs they are because I haven't talked to her about it. But when you have someone like Lisa Leslie who put her name in the hat for 2 jobs, 2 of these new jobs, and I don't know why you said no, but you said no. One, Lisa has coached in the Big 3. Lisa Leslie is by far one of the best that's ever played the game. When I look at what's going on within the W in these teams, players will respond and can relate to a former player on that level a lot better than someone who's never played the game. Maybe you've been an assistant coach for 20 years. That doesn't necessarily mean you will be a better coach than I would be, or than Lisa would be, or someone who, you know, did the things that she did. That one is such a mind-boggling thought to me. I really wish I knew why they said no. But Jordan, today's players, they want someone who's walked in their shoes, right? The good, the
It's
bad, and
different.
everything in between. And
Yeah.
especially when I look at these new teams and the new coaches, because I know we're going to get into it, but I'm going to go right there. There is no reason why the Dallas Wings should be 1-9. They 100%
Woo!
have talent. So when you see the talent, I immediately go to then what is the problem?
Mm. Mm-mm-mm. Well, real quick on Lisa Leslie, I don't know if you have seen the recent workout video of hers, but she could play right now. Forget coaching. She might need to be on the Las Vegas Aces. They might need her real quick.
Well, they definitely need
But
another center, but anyway.
they need someone else. But I also want to throw out there with that argument of the former player is because when the WNBA started, as you know, it was all former NBA players.
Yes.
They didn't have any coaching experience. That's what their whole thing was, especially the Sparks. It was like, how can we get a former Laker in here to coach our women's basketball team? And it didn't matter if they had 0 to none. It was like, oh, you were in the NBA, which is higher than the WNBA.
Oh my gosh.
So you can obviously coach women.
100%.
And that's a huge misconception. And I think that that is something that is constantly talked about and being overlooked. It should be these former players. And more we're seeing it, I don't know, the players are kind of getting thinned out. And you see them on the bench, a part of the coaching staffs, which we can talk about, but not as much getting these head coaching roles. So you brought up Dallas. Let's start there. Chris Koclanes.
Okay.
Yeah, you brought it. You brought it up. We starting there.
Yes,
Let's get it
I
out the way. Let's get it out the way. Chris Koclanes, in his first year, he was a defensive coordinator for the Connecticut Sun and for the LA Sparks. He was an assistant both times under Curt Miller. Then he was on the staff for USC women's basketball as an assistant. Now he is over the Dallas Wings, and Curt Miller is the GM, just a reminder. They are 1-9. And he was just asked about his coaching performance in this last loss. And he gave one word and he said poor. He said, he admitted it. He said that he feels like he's doing a poor job. And Chris, we agree with you. But to me,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Whew, okay.
To me, he looks like he is out of his depths. He just looks like he is not ready. And I mean this with the utmost respect, because I do feel like he is leaning on his staff, which includes Enola Henry. But it's like people are videoing him at Wings games and they're taking like 90% of the time out to be in a coach's huddle. And the players are just kind of left over there. Like there's things like that where it's like, all right, do you know how to do this? That's what it looks like.
So, okay. 100% correct. And yes, we do agree. That was funny, Jordan. So I am not going to put all of the blame on Chris. Because Curt Miller, this is your hire. I mean, if the GM goes to someone and says, "Hey, will you come be my head coach?" If I really want to coach, I'm not going to be like, "No, I don't want to be a head coach. I'll be your assistant." Yes.
Right.
Chris has got to take a lot of the ownership, but so does Curt. It's one thing to be buddies, to be friends, to be whatever. And I get it, trying to look out for your homeboy, your homegirl. But this is about wins and losses. Jordan, here as a former player, here's what I see when I see the Dallas Wings, because I already said the talent, right? Like I was one of the people that I was excited about Melissa and Dejanay, of course, Paige, Enrique's coming back, Tierra McCowan, like the pieces that they have, there's no way they should be 1-9. So as a former player, I look at the players, like their body language and their facial expression. They look so confused.
Yes. That is the perfect word.
Like
confused. Where do I go?
Like, how do I play basketball?
Yes. Yes.
Dejanay Carrington to me had the best season she's had last year. And she's going backwards this year. To me, she looks like she's going backwards. I don't think Enrique is Enrique. Melissa Smith is like, what in the, what do I do? I don't know how to play basketball. So as a player, listen, I can handle losses. Not really, but I understand they're going to happen. But give me a coach that I am going to run through a wall for, that regardless of what you say to me, even if in the back of my mind, I'm like, Coach, this is never going to work. But because it's you and I believe in you and you show me that you know what you're doing and I should believe in you, I'm going to go do it. But the next time out, I'm going to come over and be like, Coach, that ain't work. So let's do something different. But to your point, you can't be spending all of your time in a timeout in a coach's huddle talking about who knows what. And then you go to your team, timeout's up, and you haven't said anything. It's just a bad look to me all around. Yes. And the players have to take responsibility too. Everybody does. But right now, I think the players are still, they're looking for a leader. They're looking for a coach. They're looking for someone to lead them, to coach them. And but okay, last thing I'll say, because this is one of the teams that we could spend a whole episode on.
I know. The Dallas Wings therapy session.
But Jordan, not only do the players look lost and confused, Chris does too.
That's what I'm saying. He's out of his depths. It truly looks like he doesn't know what he's doing yet. And I think that's a little, because, here's the thing. I was sticking up for him when it was those preseason losses. I was like, whoa. Like, you guys are coming at his head a little too soon. It's just preseason. Everybody calm down. And I made a funny video about it on my TikTok. Someone just commented yesterday and was like, what about now? And I'm like, yeah.
Is it still too soon?
I don't know. I can't really have your back anymore, Chris. Like it's looking kind of bad out here. And I love that you said confused because, even in preseason, we talked about where does Tierra McCowan fit? What are these rotations going to look like? And nobody knows. And I also want to put out there that Paige has been out for these last couple games.
She probably happy
so
too.
much.
No, I'm just playing.
No. So much to put on a rookie to be like, hey, we need you to organize us. Like, please come back and help. But and we're going to go through a couple of these coaches where missing your point guard is huge because Dejanay is playing point guard right now. Ty Harris is also out. Yeah. She doesn't know how to do that.
No.
And that is out of her depths to put her in that position. Enrique wants to play off the ball, so they're trying different things.
No, Enrique has to play off the ball.
Yes.
And Jordan, we talked about the returning players, right? Yeah, Paige is being a rookie. You're asking way too much of her. But you got a nice draft. You got JJ Quinterly, who is going to be a really good player in this league. Isaiah James, who's going to be a really good player in this league. Listen, they don't look like this because of the lack of talent.
Right.
That ain't it. The talent is there.
Okay, we have to move on, or else we literally will stay on Dallas for the
We will.
whole episode.
Can I say one thing before we go? Just one
Please,
last thing.
please.
I'm also going to say this. It's such a double standard when it comes to coaching and opportunity in the WNBA. You had someone, I know we're not talking about Chicago, but I'm going to use her, a Teresa Weatherspoon. She got one shot. One shot. And she was gone. She was out for whatever reason. I know a lot of people have their reasons, but it's not right. So I only bring that up because what Spoon did last year don't look like what some of these coaches are doing. So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what's going to happen?
So we're going to have to face that. We're going to have to face the music at the end of the season, because if everybody else is getting second chances, then we're going to have, it's going to be an issue.
Yeah.
It's going to be a problem. Woo. Dallas. You know what? We need to take a break after talking about Dallas. Let's step away for a second, but when we come back, we are going to dive more into the other coaches around the league and see how they're doing. We'll be back. So let's balance that out with a positive, with a coach who I think is doing well in their first year. Let's go Golden State Valkyries.
Ooh,
Natalie Nakase, first head coach in, in Valkyries history. So she didn't have a predecessor to kind of have to carry the baggage over from, starting with the clean slate. Valkyries are sitting right now 3-5. And she was, we know that she played for UCLA, started as a walk-on. She was an assistant coach for the Clippers, and then won 2 championships with the Las Vegas Aces as an assistant. And then this is how we're going to morph into the Valkyries versus Aces game, because she wanted to win that game so bad. You could tell she wanted to win that game so bad. And I think, what I can just project onto her is like, how gratifying is that to be able to go out on your own, be your first time head coach, and then beat down your former team by just looking like the better team. Like, it's not like everybody played incredible and we can talk about it, but like the scheme, the scout, everything was so on point. And she has her team playing extremely hard. And the Valkyries, they look better than what I thought they would, especially at this point. They look solid. They look solid. What are your thoughts?
First of all, don't cheat them out of their one win. I think after last night, they're 4-5 after beating
4-5. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Let's give it to them. Listen.
Yes.
You talked about the complete opposite. You're 100% correct. When I look at Dallas Valkyries from a talent standpoint, to me, Dallas has more talent. They have more talent. The difference is the Valkyries, they believe in what Natalie's doing. They 100% believe in what she's doing, and they will run through a wall for her. They're playing hard. They're defending. They're playing together. And you know what else I think why this really kind of works, the squad she put together. And I know it's, they're an expansion team, but I agree, playing a lot better than I thought they would be playing, especially right so early in the season. Other than like Tiffany Hayes, they don't really have a superstar.
Mm-hmm.
They have players who have all been like role players on their previous teams. So the buy-in is there. The opportunity is there. They look like they're having fun. Even when they're not winning, they're competing, they're playing hard, they're having fun. That's one of the biggest differences with this team and a new coach. than a lot of the other teams and a new coach. I want to just say that Aces game in particular, Natalie was like, y'all, if we don't win another game this year, we really need I need y'all to win this.
I would love to be in that locker room beforehand. Yeah. She was
I
fired
need y'all
up.
to win this for me. This ain't about y'all. I need y'all to win it for me. So here's what I saw at the end, when the coaches go and shake hands. I know Natalie was like, okay, just keep it together. Keep it together. But I saw when Becky kind of like tapped her on the head, I bet there's no telling what Becky said to her in her ear. Becky probably wanted to just choke the life out of her. I'm kidding. Not really. Not really, but yeah, right?
I mean, they got embarrassed.
Jordan, how does that happen? And I know everybody's pointing at the Aces, right? Like how bad they looked and what they didn't do and yada, yada, yada. But I need us to talk about what the Valkyries did do. Like, don't take the win away from what the Valkyries did. And this is all you could ask for in an expansion team. And let's not talk about attendance. Hello.
Oh my gosh. They're killing it. They are setting the new standard. It's actually
they're a fun team to watch. This Valkyries team, they are a fun team to watch play. Yeah, so this isn't a flower segment, but I'm just gonna give the Valkyries flowers right now. And Natalie, keep doing what you're doing, boo.
Keep doing it. And again, that was Saturday's game where the Valkyries won 95-68. And they had 3 players for the first time, I think I took a picture of it when they flashed it on the TV, but for the first time, 3 players with double-doubles. Kayla Thornton had an incredible game, 22 points, 11 rebounds. Veronica Burton and Mo Billings also had double-doubles. And it was like a full, complete effort. They just outworked them, outplayed them. And then we talk about, last night's game. We're recording this on Tuesday. Overtime win against the LA Sparks. And they had to grind that out. Like, they had to really dig deep and figure out a way to win. And that's, again, these are role players, international players that are coming over and being like, yeah, y'all really underestimated us. Like, we don't really care. And we really like our coach. Like, it all shows. Yes. It's all going together. So shout out to the Valkyries. I love what they're doing. And I think Natalie Nakase is definitely one of the positive new coaching experiences that are heading into this season.
Woo!
So I feel like we're just gonna have to balance. We're just gonna have to go back and forth like a teeter-totter. All the praise for Natalie Nakase. So let's see, where are we going? Let's go Connecticut. Let's go Connecticut. Rachid Meziane is coming in as a highly touted international coach. He has not coached in the W before, but he led, he's French. He was also the Belgium national team head coach. He's led teams to a EuroLeague final in the previous years, going up against giants like Fenerbahce that has all WNBA talent. So he has some international pedigree. But then they said, hey, coach, here's this team that we have for you. Go make do. We'll keep Marina Mabry, but everybody else, we're just kind of putting on your lap. Let me say a positive thing before we get into the critique, because right now they're sitting at 2-7. I think that he is bringing back like dressing up on the sideline, which I feel like is more of an international thing that needs to come back. Because after COVID, everybody went with the quarter zips.
I agree with you on
and
that.
The khakis.
Yeah.
He was wearing a sweater and a blazer. Like, give me some
agree with you on
clothes.
Yeah,
Give me
a little slay on the sideline.
A little, it gives you a little, I don't know, same thing when we say dress well, play well. I think that's a little bit of his mindset for coaching as well. So that's a positive, I'll say. Thanks for bringing that back, Coach. I would say Connecticut is in the same bucket as confusion. I want to know what your thoughts are, but it's a little bit of I don't know where to go and I don't know where I can be put on the court to be the most successful. And that is a direct pointing to coaching to me. You look so defeated.
Well, I'm just getting my thoughts together because, like, I'm really not trying to bash anybody, but I also want to be real and honest. But I want to be real and honest. They are lost and confused. So here's a question I have. International coaching to me isn't it's different to bring a coach who's been coaching his or her entire life in their country or just coaching internationally, and then you bring them to the WNBA and say, do the same thing for this team that you did for your national team or Olympic team or whatever team you were coaching. And then to your point, on top of that, you don't give him a whole lot to work with in his first season. That's tough.
Right.
But also the style of play that they play internationally is different than the style of play we're playing here in the W. So not only are the players having to adjust to a new coach, a different style, the coach himself is having to adjust to a different style.
Yeah.
And trying to understand, and trying to understand and figure out, what am I doing? How can I put my players in the best position to be successful when he doesn't even really know what that looks like, right? It's his first year. And Jordan, they have two players averaging in double figures, and that's two vets, Marina and Tina Charles. I honestly just don't know what we really were expecting him to be able to do with this team in his first season. I do think they have some up and coming talent, right? I'm a huge Sanaya Rivers fan. I love JC Sheldon. I love how hard she plays. I don't have a lot on this one besides what you said earlier.
Fine.
They look like Dallas. It's a lot. Kind of running around trying to figure out what to do, where to go, how to do it. What do you want from me? I know what I'm capable of doing, but I'm not really sure if that's what I should be doing.
Yeah.
And some of these games, honestly, for me, and this isn't just with Connecticut, they're actually hard to watch.
Because it doesn't like satisfy your basketball brain of like flow and cohesiveness. And I would say for Connecticut, it is on the defensive end, maybe even more than the offensive end. Like they're last in defensive rating. They're allowing a lot of points. They're allowing a lot of points from each players. But then that's what makes it so kind of surprising when they come out and they beat an Atlanta Dream.
But you know what happens, right? when a team like Atlanta or anybody, you go in and you play a
Start
team who's
underestimating.
1-9 or 2-7. Yeah, you're like,
Mhm.
oh well, even if they get a lead, we'll be able to come back and beat them. I want to go back to one thing you said on the defensive end. When you look at the players or you look at this roster, right? Just as individual players, JC Sheldon to me is a really good defender. Um, Tina Charles, the younger Tina Charles was a good defender, but Tina is older in her career. These players they've never really been known for their defense.
Mhm.
So to put them all together and put them in a situation like we're doing right now, saying, they're not very good on the defensive end, I don't know if they've ever been good on the defensive end as individuals. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree with that.
I don't know. That one's hard for me.
It's hard. They beat the Atlanta Dream 84-76, but then their very next game, they lost to the Washington Mystics 104-67. So it's also that inconsistency piece as well. Are they going to be able to string some wins together? That's going to be super interesting. So a lot of head scratching things there for the Connecticut Sun. Stephanie White with the Indiana Fever is a new head coach, but she's also going back to the Fever, and we know what she can do. She has been able to show off her pedigree, what she can accomplish, what she did with the Connecticut Sun last year. And we also have to keep that in perspective when we talk about Rachid Meziane. He is coming into a organization that lost their head coach, lost 80% of their scoring, lost everybody and everything, and they're up for sale. So it's like a lot going on in Connecticut right now. But going to the Fever, I don't have a ton to say on Stephanie White because it's not like these other situations where it's a new coach coming in and they are new to the WNBA. I think Steph White, who has been away for a little bit for personal reasons, we don't know what's going on, but we send her all of our love. The Fever are going to be fine. And Steph White I think, was the perfect person for that job to bring them to kind of the next step that they need. But I don't know if you wanted to spend time on her because she's an anomaly in this group of coaches.
Yeah, I don't even look at Steph as a new coach, right?
Right, I agree. Yeah.
Steph just left
one team and went to
another one. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
I will say this, though. The only thing I'll really say on Indiana or Steph, I think it's going to be very important for her, down the stretch to continue to be able to put her players in like the best place and best situation to be successful. Aaliyah Boston, I think right now, may be playing the best basketball she's played her entire WNBA career so far. And she has got to be able to touch the basketball almost, to me, on every possession. And that's not for her to necessarily score it, but when she catches the basketball, she attracts so much attention. And then with the shooters that she has, right? When Caitlin comes back, you got Kelsey Mitchell who can shoot it. Lexi Hall, to me, right now is playing so well. I just think Steph is going to have to be able to continue to do what she's been doing. That's balancing out touches and making sure that she keeps everybody involved if they want to be successful this season.
Yeah. Which is the hard part of being that head coach. You got to make sure that you're spreading the love and making sure that everybody is put in the best positions to be successful. Kind of going down the list, another positive for me is Carl Schmesko with the Atlanta Dream.
Mm-hmm.
They look great.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would say just besides that loss to Connecticut last week, but overall, the Dream have been on a winning streak and they know their identity. Carl Smesko coming from Florida Gulf Coast, it was no secret that he loves the 3-ball. Yep. It was no secret that this is what he wants to do. And I just feel like he came in with this clear idea, even though he has not coached at this level before, but it seems like everybody has the buy-in piece. That's the piece that we keep talking about is missing. But when BG feels like she is confident and has the green light to shoot threes, Bree Jones feel like she has that green light too, and the spacing seems really solid. They look really good, and they're sitting right now 5-3 in the overall standings. They are third. Like they look good to me.
Yep.
I don't know how you feel. Yeah.
No, I totally agree. I was one of the ones when when Bree Jones and Brittany both went to Atlanta. I was like, what in the what? Huh? How is that going to work? Yeah. How is that going to work? But you're right. So, and that's the thing, because I know earlier when I was like going from college to the pros it's different, right? It's a different style, different coaching, all the things. But if you can do that and get your players to buy in, you're going to be good. And that's exactly what Carl did, what he continues to do with Brittany and Bree Jones. But I think Alicia Gray's having an MVP type season. Ryan Howard, Jordan Canada's still out. Like they look really good. And Atlanta may be the one team that I don't know if we're honestly talking about enough with what they're able to do. So yeah, shout out to Carl. I think he's doing a really good job for his first year with this team. And in Atlanta, they're playing like they're having fun, like they're enjoying playing basketball again.
I agree, because the vibes were so down last year. They were so bad. Just the energy, the body, everybody just looked down. And yes, you are totally right. And you can see that reflected. And anytime that you can get a player like Alicia Gray, who is in year 8, I believe, to get her first player of the week, like that is Alicia, and that's the work that she's put in, and the confidence that has grown from Unrivaled and all of these things. But also it's putting her in great positions to be able to succeed. And so that is some of the coaching staff as well. So 2 coaches that I think we need to touch on before we move on is Lynn Roberts with the LA Sparks and Sydney Johnson with the Washington Mystics. So Lynn Roberts is a certified college coach. She is coming from Chico State, Pacific, and then she was at Utah for over a decade and was coach of the year of the Pac-12. When I worked at Pac-12, I got to see up close and personal how much her teams loved her. She did have an identity, a very much 3-and-D type of playing. So far, I just feel like the Sparks are okay. And again, I don't know how much this is her fault, because I can't truly judge what Lynn Roberts is doing until their whole team is complete. These last couple years, the Sparks have just been riddled by the injury bug. And so far, Ray Burrell is out. Cameron Brink is still out. She also kind of took away this idea that she's coming back in June, that was a rumor. So we don't know when she's coming back. And it would be so fun to see when they're at 100%. But right now, it's just a lot on KP and De'Erica Hamby. They've been really up and down. Right now, they're sitting at 3-7, I believe. And it's just okay. Like there are glimpses of good moments, but I don't know if I can truly judge if she is an amazing coach, if they are better than last year, because this is what happened with Kurt Miller. He also got ravaged by the injury bug. So Sparks are just okay. Sydney Johnson for the Washington Mystics, I would also put him kind of in the okay bucket, but they're doing way better than I thought they would. Sydney Johnson was an assistant coach for Teaspoon in Chicago. And then prior to that, mostly just men's college basketball coaching. He kind of comes in a little under the radar. I don't know if the expectations were even super high. I think the Washington Mystics organization was just trying to separate themselves a little from the Tebows. You had Eric Tebow coming in, trying to just keep it together. I think that's what the Washington Mystics these last couple seasons, just trying to hold it together. And right now, Sidney Johnson is doing the positive thing of getting the best out of his rookies and getting the really, really good things out of a team as a whole. Like, they put up 107 points last week. Like, this is not what we kind of would expect from this Washington Mystics squad. So I think they're doing really solid and especially better than I thought they would. So that's where I put those two coaches. But unfortunately, we got to talk about Tyler Marsh because we've talked a lot about Chicago. I'm just laughing because I'm looking at Sheryl's face.
Sorry. I wear my emotions on my face. I'm sorry, but yeah.
Girl. No,
I'll just start with a question. I'll just start with a question.
Okay.
You don't even have to
go for it.
You don't have to begin. Now, I was not there, not in the locker room. I don't know. I still don't know why Spoon got fired. But I honestly think she had them playing a lot harder than what they're playing right now. I'm a big Tyler Marsh fan. I really am. I liked watching what he did with the Aces, being on Becky's bench. Jordan, but something just ain't right. Something ain't right in Chicago. And I'm not even going. I don't even want to pick out one particular player because Angel Reese she's been getting beat across the head since the season started. She has. Now, I'll say this. Is Angel playing the way she played in her rookie season? No, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Angel besides all the negativity. Like, that will get to anybody. They're another team to me that looks lost. Like, what do we do? What are we doing? I'm sorry, because the first thing I should have said was, Sloot, we love you. Just sending you positive vibes. That hurt me to my heart when she went down with her ACL. And sending you lots of love and positive vibes from us, Sloot.
Super positive vibes. And Allie Quigley officially retired. I believe that was today I saw that. But when I first saw the graphic, I thought she was going to come back. I thought she was going to come out of retirement to replace her wife and be on the squad.
That would have been cute. That would have been cute.
Really excited. And then she was like, let me shut these rumors down. I'm retired. I'm retired.
Oh, that would have been cute.
Yes, that is also what I'm saying. And I also want to say, this is not an excuse. Tyler Marsh, you got to figure it out. But you got to think about the whole big picture of how the Chicago Sky got here. You have to think about James Wade up and deuces up mid-season, leaving the Chicago Sky a couple seasons ago.
They've been a mess for a minute.
The trade that he made before he left to get Marina Mabry and all of the draft picks that he dealt in that trade was crazy. Then you think about what happened with Teaspoon, the whole season last year, her not being able to come back. And then in the offseason, they trade their third pick, which would have been Sonia Citron, who is balling out of control. And they don't have that. They have Ariel Atkins, who's trying her best, but I also feel like she doesn't know how to be successful on this team. So it's like a multi-chasm of so many things that has kind of trickled down to where we are right now. But to me, this is in the same boat as Dallas, and Tyler Marsh just looks a little out of his depths again. And this is something that I wanted you to comment on, is the team, the assistants that he built around him. Do you feel like this is the best team to have? I don't know how else to put that.
Jordan,
what is it? Tanisha Wright?
Listen,
Courtney
I am
Parrish?
never, ever going to be that person that wants to see someone be without a job. But I don't understand this staff. I don't. I just don't.
I don't get it.
I'm confused, and I'm not even playing. But when
I can't imagine how they feel. I can't imagine. I'm laughing, but I'm crying for them because it shows how confused they are.
Here's what I'm now that Sloot's down and out, she's done for the season. They need a point guard. Like, I know you're playing Ariel Atkins at the point. You got Haley Van Lith. I'm going to just put this out here. First of all, personally, I think Ari McDonald should stay with Indiana. I think she's making a big difference on that team. When Caitlin comes back, they got to get rid of somebody, right?
Yeah, they got to
and
get
if it's
rid of
Ari
somebody.
McDonald, Chicago, you need to call her.
That's a really, really good point. Yeah.
You need an experienced point guard. Right?
But because Jordan, that was his saving grace, because he had Courtney Vandersloot. Yes. Like, that was kind of like a huge first year coach. You get Courtney Vandersloot as your point guard. That's a big deal. Now she's out for the rest of the season. So now the veil is going to kind of be unveiled to show, can you do some X's and O's?
You know, I heard Dawn Staley say about Camila Cardoso when they played Indiana the other day. She said Camila needs a coach who believes in her and who's going to basically say to her in front of the team, like, I believe in you. I need you. Here is what we need you to do. Like, you as a coach, as a head coach, you have to know your players, and you can't coach all of your players the same. Some players don't mind being yelled at in front of the whole team, because when you do that, they're like, oh, okay, let me show you. But some players, if you do that, they do the opposite. They shut down. You know, I look at Angel, even her rebounding, that's just what she does naturally. But when I look at Angel play right now, one, she does not look like she's enjoying it. She doesn't. And like the double-double she was getting last year, Angel, even in college, right? I felt like she needed to work on her post game, like finishing up high, like her layups and all those things. But she could do it in college and get away with it because she was usually bigger than who was defending her. It's like she's afraid to even shoot the basketball when she gets it in the paint. Like, she gets it and it's like, let me look for somebody to pass the ball to, instead of just doing what she did last year. Just play, just be aggressive, just go up, just attack. I don't know. I feel the same way about this team like Dallas. They look lost. They look confused. They don't know what to do. They don't look like they're enjoying playing basketball right now. And I never want to see anybody look like they're just kind of going through the motions, just trying to get through the season.
Right. That is not a good product to watch. That makes a season that is already grueling and really long, extra long, for the players, for the coach, and here's the good news as we're talking about all of this. And when we put kind of these coaches in the buckets of, it feels like the Dallas confusion bucket and the success of everybody buying in so far. I feel like there's two buckets that are happening right now. There's time to turn it around. There is still time. There's still a lot of games left where this can go another way. But I see in my near future, if I was a psychic, I see some closed door meetings. I see some inner self work as we look at the teams, at the captains, talking to their coaches, because there's things that have to fundamentally change if you're going to right the ship. But the good news is that there is still time, that you're working towards right now the end of Commissioner's Cup. You're working towards All-Star break. We saw last year Indiana have a completely different season after All-Star break. So there is time to turn it around. But what you just said, we can't just have players be like, ooh, is my check in the mail? Yep. Okay, that's all I really care about, because we're losing games and we don't even have a fighting chance against a Liberty and a Lynx and these other teams with established coaches and established identities. You have time to make that identity still. So I feel like this was therapeutic. I think I needed to get all of this out. So thank you.
It was very therapeutic, but
you're so frustrated.
I am, Jordan. I'm frustrated because I feel like I don't know if we hired, not we, but if the W or the teams hired the best available, because I feel like we're robbing the players from being able to give us the best that they have to give us night in and night out.
That's fair.
I don't know. And the last thing I'm going to say on it is we also have to be fair. Don't tell me that Teresa Weatherspoon was the worst coach for Chicago and you gave her one season. You gave her 3 months.
That really puts it in perspective.
I want to see what's going to happen after the season. Just saying. That's all I'm saying.
That's fair. Okay, we are going to take a quick break. We're going to step aside. But coming up next, we're going to send some flowers. It's time for Sending Flowers, sponsored by Cash App. Making money moves should be easy, and that's why there's Cash App. It's fast, safe, and honestly, just way more personalized than other apps out there. Sheryl, who are you sending flowers to this week?
I had a couple of players because it was really tough, but this week I am giving my flowers to the one and only Veronica Burton.
Yes.
I've been a fan of Veronica since she was, she was at Dallas, then she went to Connecticut, then she was out of the league at some point, came back, she played Athletes Unlimited. Veronica Burton is the epitome of perseverance, resilient, staying ready so you ain't got to get ready. I love that she is this point guard for the Valkyries, had, I'm going to say, her best game against the Aces last week. And she just continues to compete. She plays hard. She is her in this moment. And you know how much love I got for you. And I could not pass on giving her her flowers this week.
I love that. And in last night's game, she rolled an ankle. She came back and was a huge part in helping that Valkyries get that win. Okay, I'm also giving flowers. I'm also giving my flowers to a Valkyrie. This is a double flowers Valkyrie. So these flowers are purple. And I want to give my flowers to, because we talked about coming into this episode, like someone who no one is really talking about, kind of flying under the radar. And I want to say Janelle Salon, who is a French player and a rookie. She's 23 years old. I've become a fan.
Okay.
The way she can score the basketball and she can shoot. She can shoot the leather off of the ball. Last night, in previous games, she's had 18 points. She's kind of been up and down a little bit, but last night she had 21 points and it was money. Like anytime she was throwing up a three, a mid-range, she is so skilled. And I fully admit that I did not know her game. She was on the French national team. This was her first year in the WNBA. She came late from training camp. So when I was talking about who's the Valkyries gonna get, they waving people. They had Janelle Salon on the plane. She was on the way. And I love being put on. I love having new people to cheer for. So I wanted to give my flowers to you, Salon. You are a hooper. And it has been super fun to watch.
Clean sweep by the Valkyries.
Clean sweep by the Valkyries. Well, that was Sending Flowers, sponsored by Cash App. As you heard me say at the top of the show, new Cash App users can use our code to get free money. Use our code Hoopers, send $5 to a friend within 14 days, and you'll get $10 right in your account. Thank you, Cash App. And thank you, Sheryl, for sending flowers, for talking with me. I always want to give you flowers because this is always so fun. Thanks for hanging out.
Girl, right back at you. Like, I love you. 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 I love you.
Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to follow on your favorite podcast app so you never miss an update. Your support means the world. And if you're feeling generous, leaving a quick rating or review helps more Hoops fans discover the show. And you can now see us on our brand new YouTube channel. Make sure to like and subscribe there. Shoot us an email at women'shoops@odyssey.com to tell us what's on your mind. We want to hear your hottest takes, your burning questions, and all your feelings about all things women's hoops. We just might feature your note on the show. That's women'shoops@odyssey.com. The Women's Hoop Show is an Odyssey original podcast hosted by me, Jordan Robinson. Today, our co-host was Sheryl Swoops. Our producer is Phil Sweetek. Our video team is led by Kurt Courtney and includes Tim Meikle, Evan Cox, Allison Jeffrey, and Lauren Vieira. Our executive producers are Greg Holtzman, Asha Saluja, Danny Freisinger, Maddie Sprunkheiser, and Leah Reese-Dennis. And special thanks to Moira Curran and Josephina Francis.